Hello. Welcome back to Creepy Travels. This week, Alan is going to tell us a story of a monster up north.
Monster up
somewhere
north.
in Upper Michigan, right?
Well, it's Lake Superior, which is a large body of water, obviously.
Thank you. Yes, I know that.
So, yeah, that's where a lot of my stories take place.
All right,
So,
take her away.
I'm trying to get the energy up enough because my confidence is so low from you telling me that I look like crap right now. You're like, you look like crap. And record.
I love you. It looks like I punched him. I didn't. Just so everyone's clear,
Could
we
be a
feel
shadow.
safe. We feel safe in our home. Well, at least I can say I feel safe. You just have black and blue under your eyes, like you're
Like bags? Like I'm tired?
yeah.
That's good.
You look cute.
Whatever. Okay. So before I start, how big do you think Lake Superior is?
Like square miles?
Yeah.
50,000
What?
square miles.
It's 31,700 square miles.
Oh, wasn't
Very.
far off.
How deep do you think it is? The deepest spot?
60 feet.
Okay, I thought I was going to say like 100. It's 1,332 feet deep.
Wow.
Yeah. So the reason I was thinking about that is like if we're looking for creatures that could be like, I don't know, hard to find and stuff, you'd look in the ocean, but you could also look in freshwater lakes like Lake Superior, because that's a ton of, it says it's 2,903 cubic miles. So that'd be very hard to find something if you were looking,
Yeah, it would.
even if it's big.
Don't drop anything.
So
I'm going to pause this for 1 second.
So what?
I don't know, where'd you leave off when we paused?
All right, we're talking about, or yes, I am.
I'm here for the listens
I'm going
this
to
week.
try to pronounce it right. So it's called Mishipeshu or Mishipeshu, however you want to say it. Mishipeshu sounds more like like the correct pronunciation. Apparently, me saying that is a secret call to our cat. And I said that, and she's like, "I need to come by you." Hi.
Meow. Well, you don't need to make an appearance in every episode. She like rubs up by the mic. Like, yes, I do.
Okay.
Just a
Get out of
minute.
here, Lola.
Bye.
All right, we're talking about Mishipeshu. That's how I'm pronouncing
Yep.
it. So it's also known as the underwater panther of Lake Superior.
That's cool.
So it starts out in the 17th century. Father Paul Lejeune is standing on the shores of Lake Superior watching some of the, as they're calling them, First Nations tribes in the area fish. As he gazes out over the waters, he sees the men pulling something, he didn't know what it was, out. It said it was over a meter long, or a meter and a half long, with a lizard-like body and the head of a turtle. He said the fishermen seemed unsettled. They quickly tossed the creature back into the water. And then later that night, he learns that the creature the men had caught was not a fish, but a monster capable of causing catastrophic storms. Maybe like the one we had yesterday where we got 15 inches of snow.
Yeah.
In releasing it, the men hoped to escape its wrath.
So they were going to release this monster back into the world to...
Well, they caught it and they're putting it back.
Okay, because they feel like it's bringing...
Yeah, so they're
Badness.
saying that's the first documented sighting of this.
Okay.
So it's also known as the Great Lynx. It says that it is an Ojibwe water creature, also known, I don't think it belongs to this tribe, but they have the word for it.
Yeah.
Also known as the underwater panther. It says, or in direct translation, the Great Lynx. It's affiliated with other tribes like Algonquin, Ottawa, Menominee, Shawnee, and Cree tribes. As many names, pronunciations, I am not going to try really any of them because...
I get that.
Yeah.
Gonna butcher them all.
Yeah. So it says it dwells in the depths of Lake Superior. It said that Mishipeshu is said to live near these different islands that I'm also not going to pronounce, or I'll try to pronounce, but I might not pronounce correctly. Michipecatan and Minotaulan Island in Lake Superior, and is often regarded as a symbol of the lake's power. It says it can cause storms, waves, and whirlpools. The water spirits travel through underwater tunnels, speaking in a roaring hiss that sounds like rushing water. That's what the legends say. So they say it's made up of different animal parts. It says sort of like a Frankenstein's monster of all the animals you might find in the Great Lakes region. Some say it has the head and paws of an enormous cat, horns of a bison, the scaly body of a snake. Some people say it's feathered like a bird. It has a spiky back and tail, and there's other...
What a description.
Other characteristics like being very large.
It's every animal you can name.
Yeah, then some say it is about the size of a lynx or a mountain lion. Others say it is really, really big. And then it describes a cross between a cougar and a dragon. That's like the main one that people say. And then they talk about it. They say it causes storms and stuff. And then they say if you offer it tobacco, it'll allow you safe passage. But if you don't, it will, like, it can cause bad storms, whirlpools. And they say it'll cause openings in the ice for you to fall through.
So it likes tobacco.
Yep.
All right.
Well, they say offer tobacco to spirits and stuff to...
Oh, okay.
Yep. So it says in 1897, this is our second story. It says there was a man that was yachting near Duluth. The man fell overboard and was attacked by what they describe as a beast that constricted him like a snake. It squeezed him until all the air had been forced from his lungs and his eyes bulged. There's 3 eyewitnesses, too, on the boat that saw it.
Ooh.
It says, as far as we know, the man escaped the creature's clutches, and he returned to the boat shaken but alive. So they talk about different, and when I say they, this is the website Great Lakes Guide, and they're talking about, obviously, the Great Lakes, Lake Superior here. They're talking about different, there's so many shipwrecks and stuff on Lake Superior especially, that you can maybe blame this creature for. It says, Mishipeshu is known to drown those who trespass on its territory. It says, children in particular. Historically and culturally, myths have always been a way to explain the unexplained, and especially to prevent children from getting lost in the water.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good way to keep your kids like, hey, it's going to get you. So then the next story, and there's actually, the guy got pictures too. In 1977, this guy named Randy Braun was hiking in the Porcupine Mountains Wilderness State Park in Michigan. In addition to being the largest state park, it also has 145 kilometers of trails, 60,000 acres of forest, secluded lakes, and different waterfalls. And I remember we tried to go one time, and remember it was so foggy the only time we went.
Yeah.
So we turned around and went
It
somewhere
wasn't
else.
worth it because you couldn't see more than like 20 feet in front of you.
Yeah, so we just did some hiking.
Yeah.
It was really beautiful, though. I see why people go there in the fall, especially. So, I'll tell you Randy's story.
Oh, Randy.
So, he's on a trail that brought him to the shore of Lake Superior. This is his account. Randy says... Oh, wait.
This is not
Okay,
Randy's story?
It is, but they word it weird, like they're jumping in and out of character.
Okay.
So, Randy's story. As Randy looked out across the lake's choppy surface during his hike, he was astonished to see a bizarre figure rising out of the waves. At first, he wasn't sure what he was looking at, but as it came closer to shore, he realized it was something strange. First, he thought it was some ducks.
Okay.
It looked like maybe there's some diving ducks. And then he looks at it and he said, the humps on the beast's back would rise and fall beneath the water in sequence, one surfacing after the other. He explains that the now obviously living thing stopped maybe several hundred feet from me, and began moving and weaving around large boulders that were in the water. Randy goes on to explain it was big and resembled an anaconda with the girth of a Volkswagen. He goes, don't laugh, It wasn't funny.
Jeez.
Said Randy's instincts told him to flee for his life, but he was trapped between a slippery rock slope and the water. So he jumped behind a nearby boulder and grabbed his camera. He goes, As it moved towards me, it slowed down considerably, but was making a noticeable wake. It was strangely quiet while it snaked toward me and stopped dead in the water right in front of me. It was big. I steadied my camera on top of the rock and fired one picture, but was afraid to move after that. And the thing sat there for about 30 seconds with its huge horse-shaped head huge horse-shaped head. So I'm assuming the head's the shape of a horse head, not the body of a horse. Just sounds weird how he worded it. Or I just interpreted weird.
I was going to say, I'm like, I completely understood what you said the first time, but okay.
All right, so he goes on. Yeah, the thing sat there for about 30 seconds with its huge horse-shaped head and large, dark left eye staring at me. On the nose was a visible catfish-type whisker, maybe 2 feet in length and wiggling.
Sounds adorable, I know.
Yeah, so there's some pictures of it. If you look up, they call them Pressie, because it was, I think, by Presque Isle, or where the river comes in. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so...
And we can share his on our social media, too.
He has a video of it. The video is... It's a video of of his photo.
Oh, okay.
And like all photos, usually, they're grainy and...
Oh, yeah.
Or like photos of something I really want to see.
Isn't this in 1977?
Yeah, 1977. So, they have a couple more stories about what some people call Pressie. So they have a sketch also by Randy. See, it kind of looks like a horse head. There's his eye. I don't know.
It looks like a cat swimming. Like the the pink, I was thinking of the pink panther.
I guess it kind of looks like a panther.
I mean, there's no color on it, but when I think of panther, I think of the pink panther.
Here's the next story. In the 1990s, it says in the middle of the 1990s, during the summer, fishermen watched in horror as a large aquatic animal pulled a waiting buck deer under, and it said left its severed head near Point Iroquois, Michigan.
Wow!
So it's big enough to grab a deer and eat part of it. It says all the photographic evidence is as usual grainy and blurry. And says, but that is par for the course because let's face it, anyone's hand would shake if they thought they saw a monster.
That's true.
Makes sense.
That's very true.
And this is on Cryptic Chronicles. So the story here, there's another first-hand account. No, that's Randy's story. Randy keeps popping up all over the place. If you
he's a popular story because probably because he's got a photo. That's going to make you way more popular if you can have a photo of it.
Okay, the next story, it's just saying that furthermore and finally, people disappeared near Presque Isle River occasionally and are never found. It says it's attributed to the undertow. Like, I don't swim in any deep lakes anymore. This is Randy talking.
It's Randy again.
Randy's talking. He's very into this. He's like, I don't swim in any deep lake anymore, and occasionally have nightmares of being consumed by the thing I saw, which I would too.
Yeah.
You saw it grab a deer. Supposedly it grabbed this man falling out of his boat. Mm-hmm. But I really want to find more pictures of him.
Yeah. We'll look up some and share them for sure.
So those are my stories about what some call Pressie. I think it's easier to say that instead of Mishipeshu.
Mishipeshu?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Pressie. Is that what you said, Pressie?
Yeah.
Okay. When it came out of my mouth, it did not sound right.
You can go see drawings too. They're like rock drawings out at Agua Rock. It's in they're pictographs.
Well, that's cool. So if you find yourself up north,
pictures of it, I think that'd be really cool too. Not pictures, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think that's cool if you can see something throughout the years that kind of like there's first-hand accounts of it and there's old drawings and stuff. It kind of makes a connection and makes it more real.
Did it say when the latest sighting was?
I think that 1990s one.
Oh, I didn't realize it was the 90s for the one.
Yeah, so like 30 years ago. 20 to 30 years.
All right. Well, everybody, if you make your way to Lake Superior, keep your eyes out. That's the phrase, right?
Keep your eyes peeled?
Yep.
Maybe?
Yeah.
It sounds like, does peeled mean their eyelids are open? Because I've never liked that expression.
I don't know.
I picture you know me, I just suck at eyeball.
I suck at saying any phrase. So you guys will learn that as the time goes on. Well, thank you for that story.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It kind of reminds me of like the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah, I mean it's a giant
It's-
lake, except this is a bigger lake. Lake
It's
Superior is the biggest
it's
freshwater.
our version of a Loch Ness monster. And
Except this would be Loch Superior Monster.
yeah, it would. All right. Well, thank you. Next week we will probably be bringing you guys. I'm gonna choose our story to give you a sneak peek. I can't because I don't even know what it is yet, but it's gonna be something ghost related. Because I know we've covered some cryptids for the past couple weeks, so I figured we'd change her up and take us somewhere with some ghosts and some fun, spooky stories.
I do feel like one thing that's consistent every week, regardless of what story, we will start recording and one of the cats will join us.
Yes, I'm sorry. Like, if we lock them out, they're going to scratch at the door, so it's just better that you hear a meow or a purr in the microphone than a scratch at the door. Also, you might hear some pitter-patter in the background while we're recording because our dog is asleep next to Alan's side, and I could hear it ticking in the headphones, and I'm like, what is that? And Arcadia's
dreaming.
asleep and dreaming, and so her paw's just so slightly moving on the hardwood floor. So it's adorable, but it's also... They're easier to kick out as long as they're sleeping. We can leave the room and they won't care. It's the cats that care.
Yeah, they will follow us.
But I got Lola to sleep on the couch after petting her for a little bit. So thank you guys for listening. If you have any fun stories to share with us, please write them in at creepytravelspodcast@gmail.com. Otherwise, we'll talk to y'all next week.